Well, hello there, welcome back to the channel, hope you're safe and well. In this video I'll be reviewing the Daystate BRK Experience Days, and then I'm going to have a go at tuning my Ghost. So, let's roll those titles, shall we? So, before I start fiddling about with my BRK Ghost then, I guess there's this.
Hello, I'm here at Oak Edge Shooting Ground near Stafford to attend the very first Daystate and BRK Experience Days. This is the second day, which is dedicated to BRK. Yesterday it was all about Daystate. So I'm going to take you on a whirlwind tour of what the programme is for the day and what the attendees can get involved in.
Oak Edge proved to be an ideal venue with good facilities. Schedule of events was well thought out with a good mix of topics and activities, and nothing was too rushed. The day began with a welcome address from the company, followed by a safety brief for shooting on the range. Then we were entertained by Tony Belas recanting the history of the company from its inception to its current standing, recounting the development of the early air rifles produced by the company right up until the current range. Then it was a turn of the company engineers who actually assemble the rifles to talk about the assembly and testing processes that they go through. First of the guest speakers were Jeff and Jake from the Sub 12 Airgunners YouTube channel, who made all the workshop videos for Daystate and BRK. They talked about maintaining and servicing air rifles in the range, offering advice on those aspects that can be undertaken by most shooters themselves at home. They also had some of their upscaled rifles on show outside that are featured on the channel. Outside of the presentations there were a number of activities available. You could get to shoot any of the air rifles available in the current range, and the shooting ground has a pretty good airgun plinking range for that. As I already have a Ghost, I wanted to try something that I hadn't shot before, so I got to shoot this little compact Pathfinder with the folding stock, and also the sniper, which fit me quite well, and I quite enjoyed shooting. And I couldn't miss the opportunity of shooting a high power version of the Ghost.
So we're shooting this BRK Ghost FAC at 100 yards. I don't know if you can see the target up there. We'll try and zoom in. It's the little red target up there. Or, well, no, it's not the red target. It's the yellow one at the side. Let's see if we can zoom in a bit. There's the target. And I think we're at 60, 65 foot-pounds, something like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right, we've got 25 caliber pellets. Look at the size of that monster.
There were further presentations by airgun celebrities Matt Manning and Richard Saunders from Airgun World, who talked about aspects of airgun hunting. And the British Red Squirrel organisation had a stand and gave a really interesting presentation on grey squirrel control. And last but not least, I got to meet Dave Mills from the Airgun Training and Education Organisation, who was there to supervise the HFT shooting and offer some one-on-one coaching for shooters. Well, at the end of the two-day event, we got given this goodie bag. In it, t-shirt, mug, pen, stickers and a few other things. Nice, eh? What do you think? So, fitting end to a fabulous 2 days. I must admit I was absolutely cream crackered when I got home. Now, this was the first of the experience days that they put together, and for me, I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, what better way of spending your time than immersing yourself in airgun activities and talking about air guns with new friends for 2 days. It was absolutely fabulous. The people from the company were all very friendly, really approachable, happy to answer questions and just have a chat. And everybody else there was, you know, very enthusiastic about the event. It was great to meet a lot of people who've seen some of my videos or subscribed to the channel. If I met you there, it was a pleasure. It really warms the cockles of my heart, you know, so much positivity and encouragement and positive feedback about the videos. Really appreciate that. But certainly this event, I tell you, hopefully this is the first of many. If you get the opportunity to go, don't hesitate. You know, obviously it's a small group of people that get the opportunity to go, so get in quick, get your ticket, and if they do another one in 2025, which I'm pretty sure they will do, then I'll be there, so I'll see you there. So that's the experience days then. And what we're going to do now is moving on to the main part of the video, which is the tuning. So let's take a look at that, shall we? Okay, before we go any further then, just to make a disclaimer, I've said this before, I'm not an expert, I've not tuned a rifle in this way before. This is the first time that I've tried it, and I'm doing what I need to do based on what I've learned from certain information online. In that respect, I need to give props to Jeff and Jake at the Sub 12 Airgunners channel, who I mentioned in the Experience Days segment. I've met them before at the British Shooting Show, or Jake anyway, and got a chance to have a chat with them a few times at the Experience Days and talk about you know, this rifle, my experiences with it, and get some tips and advice from them. So I think I'm going to be doing the right thing, but you should be sure that you're doing the right thing to begin with. You know, I've the confidence that I'm competent enough to do this work. Another thing as well, this is a second-hand rifle, so there's no warranty on it. In order to do this tuning, I will be adjusting the regulator pressure. If you do that on your rifle, you will void the warranty, so bear that in mind. Okay, so with that being said, with you knowing that I'm not an expert and I'm learning this stuff as I go along, we shall proceed. So here are the bits that I decided to buy to help me out with these. This not essential, but they will make things a whole lot easier. The first then, let's move this box out of the way for now. The first, just a simple ratchet, just a narrow right angled ratchet that I need. This will enable me to put a blade screwdriver socket and get in the small gap in order to adjust the screw on the front of the regulator. So let's move those aside and bring this package in. The reason that I left the box like this is because I wanted to show you exactly how well this was packaged. Now, before we start, so I bought this box, which is contains the Sekhmet digital pressure gauge from Absolute Airguns. There's the card that came with it for details. I bought it from their website. So let's have a look. Take the box out and get rid of that box. There we go, the Sekhmet gauge. You can take the wrapper off. It's really well packaged. And then if we take the lid off of that gauge, you can see we've got our little operating manual. And there's the gauge itself in the box. And then if let's see if I can, we open that, you can see we can get to the gauge. Let me just show you. I think, would this work with this? No, I need to. So there's the pressure gauge.
And then we've got two other little boxes inside. Whoever designed this, wonderful. So if we open this box up, and you can see you've got all of the washers, 4 different types of washer for actually installing the gauge, which is great. We'll put them on there so we don't lose them. And then in this box, obviously, get it out. We've got the charger, and the charger bit is this magnetic, so that goes on the front of the gauge, and say engages straight away there, and so we need to give that a charge. So that's the gauge. So didn't really need the digital gauge, but I just thought it will be so much easier setting the reg pressure with a digital gauge that is, I think it's supposed to be accurate to plus or minus 1 bar, than it is trying to use that gauge that's on the rifle, where it's very difficult to judge anything more than about 5 bars. So there you have it then. That's the standard SecMet 25mm gauge. This is not the Pro version. All this one reads is the pressure, and also gives you a battery level indicator. Doesn't do all the other fancy shots like number of shots and stuff like that, which you'd want to use if you was using it for the sort of main pressure gauge on your rifle, I guess.
So here's a closer view of the regulator adjuster screw. You see, to access it you need to cut into the anti-tamper sticker that's on the front of it, that warns you that if you remove that or damage it, then your warranty is void, which I mentioned earlier. One thing you will notice that once I took the sticker off, I realised that I wouldn't be able to get a flat bladed screw bit into the slot, because they'd put a roll pin in the hole in the centre, so you couldn't actually fit a normal bladed screwdriver bit into it. So what I had to do was I had to take a screwdriver bit and using my grinding disc, I had to cut a slot in that would go either side of the roll pin. I guess I could have completely removed that and knocked the roll pin out, but it's only a brass screw, didn't want to damage it, so it was a lot easier just to cut a slot in a screwdriver bit that fitted, so that I could actually get the screwdriver bit in to rotate it. Now, an important point to be aware of here, looking in this direction at the face of the regulator adjustment screw, if you turn it anti-clockwise it will increase the pressure of the regulator. If you turn it clockwise it will decrease the pressure of the regulator. Now, it's okay to increase the pressure of the regulator while the regulator is under pressure, so without removing the bottle and letting all the pressure out the reg, you can increase the pressure by turning it anti-clockwise. But if you want to turn it clockwise and get the reg lower, then the first thing you need to do is to take the bottle off and then release all the air out of the regulated system so that it's totally discharged before you make an adjustment. Otherwise what you'll do is, as I understand it, you'll damage the little disc, or you're likely to damage the little disc inside the regulator, and then that will need to be replaced.
Let's change this gauge then. You see I've taken the cylinder off, but the regulator is still pressurised. Now I could fire the rifle to release that pressure, but I've found that there's a thing with the Ghost that occasionally the hammer sticks, and then when you charge it back up again you can't cock the rifle. So I found it's far easier to do it this way. So what we're going to do is take the cover off the gauge. I put some tape on the spanner so that I don't scratch the gauge, and what we're going to do is just open it slowly, let the air pressure out. Should hear it release in a minute. It will release eventually. Oh, there we go. Let the air out slowly so we don't bust the seals or anything. Right, that's all the air out, so we should be able to unscrew that. Simple as that. Right, we've got a new digital gauge. If I tap there, you can see, look, 100% battery charge, 0 bars. Put a Doughty washer on the back. Hopefully it will line up. I'm not going to be too bothered if it doesn't, but we might be lucky. See how we go. Oh, might be lucky and be able to line it up actually. No, it's not going to line up. Right, I might sort it out, lining it up later, but at the moment I'm not too bothered as long as I get the reading. So what we'll do, now the gauge is, let's just check that we got that nice and tight, or reasonably tight anyway. Tight enough so that the doesn't leak. Yeah, I think so. Right, put the bottle back on then. Bottle's back on then. You can see the system's all pressurised. Can't hear any hissing air or anything, but we'll have to leave it sitting for a while just to make sure that the pressure doesn't go down. See if there's any leaks or whatever. But as you can see, at the moment it's showing the regulator pressure, 111 bars. And let's turn that off. It's supposed to be a long press at the bottom here. There you go, and that's off. All done. Here's the reg testing setup then. As you can see, I'm set up to shoot through the chronograph. I'm using a magazine loaded with 10 pellets. I'm using the JSB Exact 8.44 grain pellets. I've already done the first shot string of 10 shots. Basically, I removed the bottle, let all the air out of the system, and then I did a turn and a half of the reg adjustment screw clockwise to reduce the pressure. You can only turn the reg adjustment screw down when there's no when the system's not pressurized. So what I did then, put the bottle back on, and then I did a very careful adjustment to get the reg pressure up to the first setting of 60 bars, because I'm going to be testing in 10 bar increments to begin with, from 60 bars up to 130 bar. So I've already done the first 10 shots at 60 bar, as recorded, you see recorded on my sheet there. So what I'll do, I won't show you me shooting all of the shots because it's going to be the same thing over and over again. So I'm going to go through, I'll do all the shot strings up to 130 bars, and then we'll look at the results and see how we're going to proceed. So here are the results from the first part of the test then. You can see on the string here, on the screen here, we've got the 10 shot strings, each of the regulator pressure settings, and I've taken the average of the 10 shots in each string and plotted them against the pressure. So you can see as the regulator pressure goes up, we increase our average feet per second until we increase the regulator pressure above the optimum, and the power starts dropping. So this is the area that we're looking at to find our optimum point, which is around, as you can see, the 110 to 120 bar point. So the next step is to look in that area at 5 bar increments to find the optimum setting. Right, we've completed the 10 bar steps then, and we just looked at the results, and now I'm set up for doing the 5 bar increments. I've already shot from 100 bars, and I'm currently shooting at 115 bars, and we'll see how we go from there. So here are the results from the 5 bar increments. You see here we've just gone from 100 bar up to 120, again 10 shot strings averaged and plotted on a graph, and you can see here
that we have got the definite sort of, I guess you call that a knee, a peak at 115 bars. So I guess that's the regulator pressure that we're looking for. Just to point out on here that when I got the rifle, I'm assuming the previous owner didn't adjust the reg because the sticker was still on there. So I'm assuming that was the factory setting, which was about 110 bar on the analog gauge. Very difficult to read, read it exactly, but it looked like it was 110 bar. So we've only increased that 115 bar. So basically conclude from that the factory setting is pretty good. It's pretty close, pretty accurate. But I'm going to be setting my reg at 115 bar then. Just out of interest then, let's have a look at regulator recovery time. I'm going to try and shoot this and hit the stopwatch at the same time. So there you go, about 11 seconds for the regulator to recover to its set pressure. So remember that when you're taking shots, especially if you're using a mag, make sure you leave enough time between your shots for the regulator to recover properly. Well, it's been a very changeable day today. It was raining earlier and it's still forecast for showers, but now the sun's come out, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to get out in the garden. The wind's not too strong, it's still a bit breezy, but should be fine. And I wanted to get and carry on with the tuning of this rifle. And what we're going to do is check the power wheel now. We've set the regulator at the optimum pressure, as you've seen, which was 115 bars. And now we're going to go through the first few power levels on the hammer spring adjuster to see whether reducing the hammer spring tension will improve the accuracy. So what I'm doing is I'm using AA fields to begin with. If I get a chance, I'll redo the test with the JSB heavies, but we're using the 8.44s to begin with. And what I'm going to do is basically put a 5-shot group into a target, then reduce the hammer spring tension setting down one position, shoot again, and go through that. And I think I think we're 7 or 8, might even be 10. We don't need to go too far down before obviously the power gets that low that we're going to notice a difference. So what I'll do is I'll set up the FX chrono as well. We've got a camera down on the target on the new box, the new pellet trap, and we'll see what sort of results we get. Here we go then.
$779, $777, $763.
And one of the advantages of using the single shot loader is you do give the regulator a chance to recover its pressure as well.
777, 784.
Right, and one thing that you need to do is make sure you're not cocked when you make this adjustment. So we're going from max down to setting number 18. And I want another 5 pellets.
772, 775, 772, 779, 775, 768, 763, 765, 763, 768,
And 16.
761, 765, 700, 65, 700, 68, 700, 63, 700, 52.
As we go along, I would expect the point of impact to start dropping. It's obviously the power level with the rifle at the muzzle's going down.
700, 52, 700, 59, 700, 59, 700, 56, 700, 49, 700, 35, 700, 47, 700,
Ooh,
49.
well, that was a flyer. That was a good group until that one, actually. I think we might have to discount that one.
700, 45,
Yeah, 4 of those shots. Well, you can see near enough, not exactly through the same hole, but near enough. And then that one flyer, well, that's the way it goes, you know. That's pellets straight from the tin for you, I guess. Let's see what we can do with the next setting. So we need to go down. That was setting 14. So we'll go down to 13.
700, 47, 700, 40, 700, 42, 700, 40, 700, 35,
Perhaps I'm just imagining it, but I think the group's starting to open out again now.
700, 35, 700, 40,
Got flies crawling around on the target down there, looking like extra bullet holes.
700, 33, 700, 33,
Oh, don't know what happened there. That one went high and then straight through the ball.
700, 28, 700, 14, 700, 24, 700, 33,
Yeah, it doesn't like this power level. You can see these groups starting to spread out now.
700, 14, 700, 31,
Right, I'm not going to shoot the last group because I don't think it's going to tell us anything. I'll just be wasting 5 pellets. So let's take a look at the target, shall we? See what we can see. Let's do our target analysis then. First with the 8.4 grain pellets. Now with the regulator dialed into, what was it, 115 bar. The maximum power output that the rifle performed at any time was 11.5 foot-pound, so well within legal limits, and that was starting on the max setting here. Now a reminder again, I put the 5p piece there for reference, but these black rings are 20mm diameter circles, and the little red dots in the middle are 5mm diameter dots, to give you an idea. So you can see right from the off we got our usual accepted performance from the rifle that we've seen before, groups of under 10mm at 25 yards. And the group size seemed to settle down between setting 18 and 17, and then starts to open up a little bit more. What's interesting here is whether this was a flyer or not, because we've got four pellets in this grouping here. Without the flyer, that's 6mm. So it may well be, when we do a test again, that might be a bit of an anomaly, because looking at the situation here, we've got the 2 8mm groups starts to open out either side. So that might show up a little bit more at a further distance.
So looking at this then, we've got an average feet per second for these 5 shots of 765, which is 10.9 foot-pounds, and at setting 18, 775 feet per second, which is 11.2 foot-pounds. So it looks like the rifle is liking to be shooting at around the 11 on average around the 11 foot-pound mark, which is obviously going to fall between the 18 and the 17 setting. So I think we'd do another test and see which setting it prefers, or whether they're going to stay the same on the grouping sizes.
Right, so we've finished the shot string for the 8.4s. Now moving up to the 10.34s. Let's move this up a bit, that's better. And I've set the power back up to max. We're going to do the same thing again with these heavier weight pellets, and see what sort of results we get. Right, I think we'll leave that there. Right, okay. So here are the JSB heavies then, 10.3 grain. Ignore this grouping down the side here. This was shots that I was taking to see whether I was going to get the accuracy I needed from the magazine, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So this was interesting then. We can see here a definite improvement, pretty dramatic. I'm just wondering though whether this group is a bit of an anomaly, because we've got this one here which was quite good, then it goes quite bad. Perhaps if we ignore this lower shot, I don't know, or perhaps one of the higher ones. I think what I need to do is to shoot this setting again, because I think that's probably a little bit of poor shooting from my part, or a bit of an effect from the wind or something. I would have expected that group to be a little bit smaller than that, certainly around 9mm or 8mm, and then we get to setting 16, and it's quite remarkable really. You know, it's an enlarged hull, a 7mm group, when you bear in mind that what's the size of the pellet, 5mm, something like that, 4.5mm something. So you know, 7mm, that's quite a good group in there. And then clearly opens out again. So we're not too far off the same setting as previously. It's all pretty close. Now power wise, the maximum power for that was achieved for any of these shots was 9.8 foot-pounds, and over here at 707 feet per second, that's 9.3 foot-pounds, and coming up we come up to about 9.5 foot-pounds in it up here. So it's looking around the sort of 9, you know, yeah, the 9.5 foot-pounds area that this rifle likes. But again,
it'll be good to check that at a further range to see, or a longer range, to see if the groups open out a bit and make it a little bit more obvious. But I didn't put the 5p down to the reference there. So that's the heavier pellets then. Well, if you got this far, thanks for watching. I don't know about you, but I found that quite interesting doing that. I think on reflection that possibly it would have been easier to notice any difference in the size of the groupings if I'd shot a little bit further out and given them a chance to open up. So I think there's mileage in redoing the shooting part of that, varying the hammer spring settings on the power wheel, perhaps shooting out at 35 to 40 yards. That's what we'll probably do. Anyway, so thanks for joining me, and thanks for watching and staying with the video this long. And that's all for this one. Hopefully I will see you on the next one. So bye for now.